G'day guys, got a 50-inch mono flexible coil here, and that is hooked up over there onto that GPX5000. You can probably hear it squawking away, and there's power lines here, so it's a big coil. We're probably, I'm just looking across over the road, we're probably about 80 meters or so from power lines, big ones, big high tension, and it's not that much interference for what it is, but we'll just do some depth tests. Dave's got, let's do some advertising, Dave. What do we got?
Baked beans, 300 grams.
Yeah, 300 grams of Heinz baked beans. Right, what a test target. But this gives an idea on a large piece of gold at depth where it's out of reach of just about every other coil, and we'll just see how far we can get that. So yeah, Dave can do a swing. See how it goes. Yeah. I don't have a non-metallic ruler big enough to measure that distance. So
Quite hard to get close enough without the boots.
Yeah, I know. Dave's got metal eyelets in his shoes, so if he gets too close to the coil, it's going to pick them up. So see how high you can get. If you can go, you have to probably swing right across the coil in a big arc.
If I'm on my tippy toes, like
Yeah,
probably about 6 foot.
yeah. So 6 feet down, which is a bit over 2 meters odd, on something that size, I would say at 6 feet, there's no other coil out there which you're going to have on a swing stick is going to get that. So there's big gold out there. Oh, 20-cent piece. Yeah, it's still a good, what would it be? 3 or so feet, 3 and a bit feet up in the air for a 20-cent piece size.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to visualise. But you know, if I get a definitive measurement with a ruler, I'm not going to bring my tradesman ruler because it's metal and it'll just scream like crazy.
I'll measure the length from the ground.
What we should do is get one of those wooden sticks I've got, and we mark it out in inches, and you know, in 100 centimetre segments. You know, we'll make our own ruler. That's a good idea.
Yes.
So we keep metal away from things. So that's the coil. Now, as you can hear, it's picking up a bit of interference. Now we're going to show you what we can do with this coil. I think might be an idea. Hang on, we'll go around here. If we turn him off, right, and now flick the coil into a figure 8. So we're going to make the coil an anti-interference coil. Now you want to get both circles pretty accurate. You can have it as a long skinny one or 2 round ones or whatever you want. As long as they're identical, it'll cancel out all the interference. So that's a nice figure 8. Still going to have really good depth on that. About the same as a singular coil of the same size, but you're going to have a lot less interference from anything. So we'll see what happens. So detector is on, and we'll see how far we can get. It's so quiet, I can hardly hear the detector. There's no interference. No. Now we've got Speedy Gonzalez going down the road. Yeah, wait for him to nick off. So you get 2 signals going that way. How high can you get it? I don't know if we've probably got enough audio going through over there. Yeah.
I can turn the threshold up more now.
Turning the threshold up is not going to make a difference to the detection depth. But that amplifier is full turned up full.
Probably not.
We'll just turn up the amplifier full. That might be a bit better. How high is that, you think? No, 4 feet?
4.5? Like it's
I don't know.
Up to my shoulder height.
Yeah, people, if you're watching this, you can estimate how high that is. I should have brought some sort of measuring device.
Well, if I'm 6 foot tall.
Yeah. Now, the other configuration of these flexi coils, see, normally you just, I thought, wrap Velcro around part of the coil and stick it onto a piece of plywood, and you could use it as a tow coil.
And so the depth on your 20-cent piece has probably come up.
Yeah. But what we want to do now, let's configure it as a long, skinny patch finder.
Do you want it as a figure 8 or just a...
No, just a long, skinny one. Okay. We'll see how we go. So we're going to configure this in a way that you could use it to find a patch, cover a lot of ground on a quad bike, or even dragging it if you tie it to yourself, that you'll be able to get very small targets. Yeah, you can configure it any way you want. You can say, oh, look, you know, if you expect a whole heap of 0.1 gram targets, you can probably go, you know, even closer than that. But that'll have some good depth to it still. So there he is, over there. We're going to try it with the baked bean can. Okay. Now I'll just do this. If you do it right in the middle of the coil, it'll actually work better on a big target. Well, it's probably getting up nearly as close as when it was a full mono, but a little bit less. So when you got a smaller target, do we have anything really small, like tiny?
Don't know.
I don't know what's in there. We've got our basket of tricks over there.
5-cent piece?
A 5-cent piece, okay. But that'll be sensitive along the whole length of the coil. So that's how we can configure these flexible coils, and we can make them any size within reason. And yeah, that's how they work, and they fold up quite nicely. I think it's got a natural feel to how it. Oh, you're going to make it a long elliptical.
Oh, why not?
A long elliptical, okay. A long elliptical crossover or figure 8 coil. We didn't even check if we put this on clean ground here. We could have put it on metal, I don't know. Yeah, hey, I'll make this go up because it shows the height. So that's a skinny figure 8 type coil.
20 cents.
Yeah. But what you can do is you can actually you can make a big square coil too. You can do whatever you want, but round coil's more efficient. And the other thing you could do with it as well, which I'm just thinking of, now it's probably just better off using it in those configurations. The more round the coil is, even if it's in a crossover type figure eight, the more efficient it is. When you start getting the windings and starting running them parallel to each other, you get field cancellation and you'll start losing sensitivity. So, you know, in reality, even though it was working quite well for big targets when it was just a long sausage type configuration, and it's still sensitive to very small gold. If you go over tiny gold, it's still going to ping on that. But yeah, in an interference area, two big round circles knocks out all terrestrial interference. So it's good. I can hear an aeroplane coming now. Sometimes these detectors go crazy when an aeroplane goes over. But yeah, it's all very quiet. What else can we do?
I don't know if this detector has anything in it to be able to demo the frequency control or.
No, that's just.
Standard.
I think it's just standard, that detector. Yeah, that's just a standard 4500. Yeah, yeah, that thing. There's nothing special about it. Yeah, looking at those baked beans is making me feel hungry, actually. Yeah. I don't know what we got. We haven't got any other target stuff, have we?
Got batteries.
Yeah. I didn't bring my 40-ounce nugget.
Got whatever tropical strength is.
Well, I'm joking about that. That's got a funny dome top on it. It's not going to work very well. Oops, hang on, I've got to zoom back out. Yeah. No, you're getting a gold nugget the size of those cans there would be very, very good. But big gold sinks down low. It gets to the bottom. And if you've got a lot of hill wash or any type of old river system, an old paleo channel, the big gold's going to be on the bottom. And you know, if you've got you know, a couple of meters thereabouts of overburden, you're not going to hear big gold. You're just going to walk over it. And missing out on something the size of that baked bean can over there, that would be a bit of a life changer. So, you know, the reason why a lot of big gold, I mean really big gold, is not found is because people don't go prepared with the right equipment to find it. You know, they go with small coils everywhere, and they're going over various types of ground. Got no idea the depth. Even looking here, look at that bank there, right? If you're walking, like, you know, I don't know if that ground there's been built up or this ground here is been carved out, but if you're up there trying to get a nugget that's sitting where I'm standing, right, you got Buckley's hope of getting it. If it's a big piece with a standard normal size coil, you're going to walk right over it. You need these big drag coils. Like, you can't swing. I know you can swing a 50-inch coil, but you've got to be built like a gorilla, and it's a lot of weight because you've got to stabilize it all in some sort of you know, containment, like a housing or a spoked setup. And yeah, you're better off just putting it on a piece of plywood, locking it down, and dragging it, tie it to you, tie it to a backpack, and walk around dragging it behind you. And if you get a really big, nice target, investigate it. You're gonna have to dig a big hole in a lot of cases, but you know, imagine digging down, you know, 6 feet or something like that, and there's a nugget the size of a baked beans can or greater. What about a nugget the size of the detector? I mean, you know, imagine that. They are out there. They have been found. A lot of people find them by doing dozer pushes, and that's how they get down. You know, they're not going down a lot. They're usually just taking a couple of feet off the top, and that gives enough, you know, shave off the ground to get down to where those nuggets are sitting on the basement. So yeah, you can hardly see that coil there now, it's in the grass, but yeah, that's the flexible coils. And the shielding we use on these coils as well, it's fully flexible, and it's inert to the detector, but what it does attenuate some of the radio waves, right, at higher frequencies. So apart from being anti-interference, if in a figure 8, it's also anti-interference in its electrical design. So that's something to take into note. We can make smaller coils like this too, and they will reduce electrical interference, like from transmission towers and things like that. It'll probably attenuate some of the radar, but the radar, I'm talking about the HF radar, it's a bit low in frequency. You know, it's 2 megahertz to 30, or, you know, it depends where they're using it. Chinese have fired these things up now. The Australian Defence Force uses them out at Long Reach and over in the Pilbara. So even the backscatter of these multi-million watt backscatter radar setups massively interfere with metal detectors. If you're over in the Pilbara, you'll notice it. You'll get this whoppity whop 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 sound, and as they change frequency, trying to optimize the return path on their radar off the ionosphere. You can read up on Google about all this. Yeah, you'll hear the frequency change. It'll start going faster or slower, and yeah, a lot of people don't know what the hell it is. They think the detector's gone mad, but it's these radar systems. And also there is radio sonde type equipment that is put out in various places, and it just basically shoots a signal straight up on the ionosphere. The signal comes back down, but it covers a fairly large area, maybe 50 kilometers around. And if you're within that circle, they're about 400 watts, and that can cause a lot of interference. And the only way to stop that is get a coil like such and flip it over into a cancel type coil and keep detecting, or buy a smaller cancel coil, you know, like from one of the manufacturers who make them. I don't know if they still make them, but it's a good way to continue detecting. You'll still get everything down to a few inches. It's not a problem, but you know, if you want to get deep gold, you need something big, and the only way to do it is with a drag coil. Yeah, Dave's still doing testing. He's got it out again as a round, and he's got his baked bean. Here, I'll just zoom out again. He doesn't want to put his shoes near it. Yeah, that's all right. So imagine, you know, something like the Hand of Faith. You know, what was that? 870 odd ounces or something, was it? I can't remember. It's a long time ago when that was found. That would blow your ears off. You know, at probably at 10 feet in depth.
A Coke can gets deeper.
Yeah.
Last time I did tests.
Yeah. Well,
have a Coke can.
Yeah, a Coke can actually works because it's very thin aluminium. It's getting closer to the conductivity of gold, and it actually gives a better signal with these types of coils, especially at far field fringing depths. You get with these type of coils. And the best thing is, at the end of the day, you could probably, if you're using Velcro, you can just pack it up. It goes smaller than that too if you really want to. I think you find it's got a natural bend. It's like one of those flip out tents, like you use at the beach, you know, those things that are circular and you just flip it out and it turns into a little tent. So very much the same. And that's why we can post these anywhere in the world, because it goes in a satchel, and that's how big it is. Well, that's a 50-inch one, so it's not that big overall. It's quite small. And like I say, using a skid like plywood, or even if you make a frame up out of some wooden panels, little fence panels, whatever, I don't know, you can go and find big, deep gold. But, I've used large coils. I found a 20 ouncer out at Creswick using a 30, I can't remember, it was back in 96, I think it was. 96, I think. Oh, it's a long time ago. And I made this 30-inch coil, and it was on little sticks of kiln dried pine, and it was quite wobbly. And I got a signal near the road, near Melbourne Road in Creswick, out in the pipe clay. And I thought, oh God, it's going to be junk. And I dug it anyway. And you put your hand down. It's in pipe clay. It was really easy digging, and you're just picking rocks up. And yeah, I put this rock up there, and it's the same thing a lot of other people have done, because you're really into the digging part and pulling things out. You pick it up, you don't realise it, and then you put it down, and you think to yourself, "Gee, that was heavy," and you go scrape the clay off it, and yeah, you can see gold. So that was a good one. And there's another one I found not far from where I am at the moment, and that's just across. I'll tell you where it is if you really want to know. It's in that direction, right? It's what would it be? Maybe 90 meters from where I am. So as you can see here in the bank, have a look here where it's been cut. I'll see. I don't know if you can see, but in the sunlight, there's quartz all through there. This whole area is a good known specking patch for gold. Don't go on the oval there though. You get in trouble. But around here, and there's a lot of bush in there, scrubby bush. Yeah, um, that's where I found a sovereign in there. So just through the bush there when I was doing some tests. And if you just have a look around, there's a walking path down there somewhere. Hope you're not getting car sick, me whizzing this around, but down there's a lot of area in between. I haven't done hardly anything in that region over there, and it's bushy all the way through. And I think we'll go around a bit more, do it slow so you don't fall off your chairs. But over there's a lot of ground here, and it's very, very quartzy. And it's got a little bit of topsoil over the quartz hiding it. But all you need to do is poke around, and it's very, very gravelly and quartzy. So that's this area. We've probably done enough, haven't we, Dave?
Probably.
Yeah, it's getting cold now.
Yeah, it's a nice day.
Yeah, for once, nice. And it's here. It's funny. It can be sunny, but it's like being in the fridge. Um,
We've got to do something.
yeah, yeah. Magpies come to say hello. Yeah. Anyway, that's our tests with that coil. They're pretty strong. We've been making a few lately. Well, Dave's been making them. I used to make them, and then we used to make them together. Now Dave has to make them all by himself.
Enjoy.
Enjoy, yes. Enjoy making them, don't you? Ah,
Rest
dear
your
me.
fingers.
Yeah. You got to do everything nice and tight so they're not loose. Otherwise, it'll sound off. So basically, you can, rest assured it's all made properly. Actually, if you want to go get it, we can do some. I'll just do a couple of. Let's work out where the sun is, because I don't want to film into the sun. We go that way. Yeah, like you're putting, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Like if you actually get this, I'm squeezing it really hard, and it's having no effect on it. It's really hard, and it's probably very, very difficult to damage it. If you wanted to, you could probably re-sleeve it in foam if you wanted to, but you don't need to. Like I always thought, just put a circular piece of Velcro, every 6 inches or so around the coil, and match it on a piece of plywood to the reverse, or the mating Velcro, should I say. Stick it down, and yeah, just stick down the configurations you want to use it, and just anytime you want to change configuration, rip it up and stick it back down as a a long skinny one, or crossover, or a big mono loop. Anyway, it's probably enough of that. You can just feel the temperature dropping. It's just dropped by about 3 or 4 degrees then. But yeah, that's all, folks. We'll leave it with you. Catch us.